Hello. Hi, can you hear me? Just let me know if you can hear. Yay, okay. I know some people have had a hard time hearing and maybe thought it was a little too low, so if it's too low, just let me know and I'll try to turn it up. Somebody decided to mow their lawn or something right when I started, so you might not be able to hear it, but I hear it. So trying to just center myself here. Oh, yay, so happy you can hear me. So good to see all of you. Just taking a minute. It's kind of a hectic start to this live because I had some technical issues, and then I was I just was testing the sound and I was singing. I was just chanting, and for my workshop that I have coming up on June 12th, I like to create PowerPoints when I do these workshops. And my workshop is called The Mystic Journey. And so I've been gathering all these images and photographs of mystics from around the world. And when I was singing, my computer was there, and all of these images just started kind of coming through of all these different mystics, when on the screensaver thing. I guess it was pulling it from one of the folders or something, and I just got so emotional. I was seeing all of these images of just all of these amazing beings who were just so full of love and compassion. It just really touched my heart, because I feel like we really need the teachings of these beings right now. So it was just like the shower of love coming from these people. I just felt as I was looking at them and singing, and then I was just about to sign on here. So, and I also had the opportunity to see my teacher Amma earlier today on Zoom as part of the little retreat. So that was also very powerful and emotional, and so I feel like a bit of a raw nerve. And it's also just been such a heavy time, a heavy week. And as I mentioned, for those of you who are in my circle, I mentioned just that I was going back and forth about whether or not this subject would feel like the right thing for today. And I actually still don't even know the answer to that. I'm just here, and I'd like to see wherever we end up going. I think the subject of humor and all that comes around it is so beautiful and important to explore. And I was also a little taken aback when I saw my session listed there, right after this horrific shooting. I saw my thing, the cosmic joke, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I feel like I want to take that down. And then I just kind of let it go, was just letting it be, just letting everything be what it is. And so here we are, and I'm not sure what will happen, but for sure I know that we're together with really good intentions in our heart, and all of the goodness that we cultivate today, all of that love, we will and we are and we will send it out into the world as a wave of goodness, because the world is so thirsty for that, and I am thirsty for that. We are all thirsty for that right now. So I'm going to begin with my invocation, and then we'll see where we go. We definitely do need that humor in grief. It's so interesting, all of these seeming polarities, how everything kind of coexists together, I don't know, that would be an interesting place to start this conversation. So, but let's arrive and get centered, and I feel like I'm kind of scrunched on the screen. I didn't adjust the screen properly because I was in whatever mode I was in. So, okay. Maybe I'll just fix that. Okay, sorry, guys and gals, and all. Just use this time to really let yourself become present here for as long as you can be here today. Just make the decision that you're going to bring your mind and body into this present moment. and call all your energy back from the loved places that it may have been today and all the other days. And just be here whole in yourself. You can just plant that seed of intention. Om Amriteshwari Namaha. Om Amriteshwari Namaha. Om Amriteshwari Namaha. Namta sansar samudtara akaitaviyam Guru Bhakti-dabhyam Vairagya-samvrata Pujanamyam Namo Namo Shri Guru Padakabhyam Namo Namo Shri Guru Padakabhyam Namo Namo Shri Guru Padakabhyam Namo And just be here. And I'll take a breath in together and just hold it for a moment. When you exhale, you can feel and imagine that you're just releasing throughout your whole body, just anything that you may be holding, anything that may feel like a burden. Just release that. Breathe in. Hold. And then exhale and release through everywhere. I'll do it 2 more times. Breathe in. Hold for a moment. And then exhale through your whole body. Last time. Breathe in. Hold. And exhale. Just let your burdens go. Let your burdens down. Just be here like an empty cup. The beginner's mind. Nowhere to go, nothing to do right now, and no one to be. Just simply be. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes if you go out, or even if you leave, if you close out of the app and come back in, you should be able to access it, hopefully. Thank you. So, obviously, things are just really hard on Earth at the moment, although they're often hard, and they've been hard for a really long time. And I had posted just a little note, a message in my circle that some of you who were in it read, and I was just saying that as I was reflecting on it this week, just that, our nervous systems are not designed to be in a constant state of fight or flight. Fight or flight is a necessary mechanism that protects us. And we need to have that. We need that survival instinct. If we're being chased by a lion, we need to know how to escape and run. We need our blood to go to the extremities so we can run. We need our pupils to dilate so we can see. We need these things. But this system of this, fight or flight or freeze or fawn, there's different streams of it. But we're not intended to be in that state constantly. And if we are, eventually our body just, starts to compensate for it, and it can lead to burnout. I've definitely experienced that in a really hardcore way, as I've talked about before. Not just like a little tired, like tired to the point that I couldn't make my bed or function for several years. It was just way too much. But I feel like we've all been, kind of living in this way for several years, really in this intense kind of fear and of the unknown, of this pandemic. And then when you layer on top of it war, and you layer on top of it shootings, and you layer on top of it, the ecological crisis and climate change and racism and, abortion rights being stripped away, and personal issues that we're all having. It goes on and on. I don't need to really recount the list, because I think most of us are aware of a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world, and it's absolutely heartbreaking on every level. I don't think that there's like a platitude. There's no like spiritual book that we can open that's going to say, yeah, it's all okay. Okay, maybe at the absolute fundamental ground of being, everything is as it is. We can't argue with that. This is reality. This is what's happening. But I don't think, one of the things that I love so much about the mystics, which is why I wanted to do the workshop that I'm doing now, is that most mystics weren't just these incredible beings who exuded compassion and love. They were actually social reformers, most of them. And they completely went against like the traditional mode of their time. And they spoke truth to power, you could say. They really challenged the dominant systems that were happening in that time period when they lived. And it's incredible to see that, how through their, their action and their spirituality were not separate. They were very integrated. And I've personally always been drawn to study with teachers who are that way, who very much support, obviously, inquiry and meditation, but also recognize that there's injustice in this world that needs to be addressed, which it does, in my opinion. So I'm just feeling it so intensely at the moment. It sometimes can feel so overwhelming. And I don't know about you, but I can say just for myself that it's a really interesting balance to try to hold everything, to be informed, to take action, to know when to step away, to know when to take care of oneself, to protect one's heart, or when it's time to actually open the heart and to let everything just be kind of broken open and feel that tenderness and that vulnerability of being human, and when to go to sleep, and when whatever, on and on and on. There's so many different ways of dealing with different things, and everybody's different. Everybody processes grief differently. Everybody handles stress differently. We're all such unique people, and that's why there's not like one size fits all, one prescription for everybody about how to live, how to be. We have different histories. We have different mental constitutions. We have different natures. And that's the other thing about, great beings, is that they never just said, like, this is the answer for everyone. Like, a real master would use upaya, which is like skillful means, and they would actually like give specific input and teachings for each student, because each person needs something different. This can't just be a one-size-fits-all thing. But anyway, I've just been obviously thinking about all of this and just, going through whatever process that I'm going through, trying to, live in the world as a sensitive person. It's very overwhelming sometimes. And for me, chanting is a very powerful practice. And actually, the practice of chanting was really designed for these times. I think I've talked about it before, but when in the Hindu scriptures they talk about 4 different ages, I'm not going to go into this in too much depth because it's going to take us away from the theme, but it's just very interesting, these 4 different ages. The age that we're in right now is called the Kali Yuga, and the Kali Yuga is sometimes translated as the dark age of materialism. And it's pretty amazing to think that this system of the yugas was crafted or revealed by the great, rishis of yore, at a time, way before now, but it's so incredibly relevant now because we absolutely are living in very much a dark age of materialism, where there's a loss of values, and it feels like our society is very ill. It's ill, like a soul illness. Like we've just completely forgot our home. We've forgotten our home. And because of that, we're trying to find it, but we're trying to find it in all the wrong places because we're told that it is somewhere other than where it really is. We're told it's out there. It's in all of these things. It's in these people. It's in this. And it's not. Our home is here. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about it like the island of ourself is here. And so we're homesick, all of us. And we're trying to get home by the wrong path, destroying nature and hurting one another and all of these things. And so, the idea of the dark age of materialism, you can just kind of see it all around. But back to chanting. The reason why the practice of chanting is considered to be so helpful during this time is because chanting works with sound and the voice and vibration. And it's a way of working with our emotions, which is what the Bhakti Yoga tradition, the yoga of love and devotion is really about, is about using our emotions as the vehicle for awakening. And when we can really allow ourselves to unburden our heart by letting everything go and expressing our emotions and our feelings through sound, through music, through chanting, there's like a release that happens, and we don't have to carry that anymore. And then we can be more free to see things clearly, to have more clarity and discernment and openness of heart. But if we always have these kind of dark clouds like smothering our heart, and we don't ever take the time to open the window and let that clear out, then it's hard to feel free, and it's even hard to sit down and meditate and enter like a peaceful space, because there's so much going on there that feels like a disruption in the line, static on the call, so to speak. So chanting is considered one of the most helpful, if not the most helpful practice of this age, because it helps us to cut through these dense vibrations of our mind and the dense vibrations in the atmosphere. Like we're living in this world, and there is an atmosphere, and the collective thoughts of humanity create like an energy, they create, like, thoughts are real. That's why sometimes thoughts are called a thought form, because it's a form, and there are some people who actually have the ability to see these thoughts. Some beings have the ability to read people's thoughts, I've had that experience before, being with my teacher Amma, with other teachers, that my thoughts are like just total transparency, which is a very vulnerable feeling, but very powerful feeling as well. But so if you imagine like the collective thought forms of humanity, like we can all feel that, we can tap into that, and we can also shift that by working with our own mind and our own thoughts. So anyway, I've just been thinking about all of these things this week, and I only have questions. I don't have answers about anything. But I know that, I think for me the most important thing is to not go down the path of cynicism and feeling jaded, because I think that's very easy in these times, to really become cynical about the things that are really important, like love, or forgiveness, or connection, and to meet each other in our humanity. If we don't have that, what do we have? If we can't cry because we feel sad about the sorrow in the world, we've lost our humanity. But on the flip side, if we can't laugh, if we can't see the beauty and appreciate the light of this world as well, then we're also we're not whole. We're like cutting off a part of ourselves. And so that's why I decided to keep this session, because I think that everything is coexisting in this world in what appears to be a paradox to the mind. And it's all happening. And sometimes I find it challenging to know, like, all of these things are arising and moving through all at once. How do I work with that? And it reminded me, I was sharing with a friend earlier in the week, I was thinking about when I had first met Amma, my teacher, who some of you know, she's sometimes referred to as the hugging saint, because she travels around and she embraces people. And she embraces people for 10, 20 hours at a stretch with no break, just one after another. It's really an incredible thing to observe. And in the very beginning, when I would watch Amma giving what's called darshan, darshan is a blessing. It actually means to see. Darshan, often, like if you go to a temple in India, when you have darshan of a deity, you're seeing it. You're not touching it or embracing it. It's just you see it. And that confers the blessings. But I was thinking that in the beginning, when I would watch Amma, I was fascinated because sometimes a person would come up to her and they would be really upset, and she would be focused on them, and sometimes she would cry, and she would hear their story, and she would wipe their tears, and she would have tears, and then that person would get up after their hug, and somebody else would come, and they would be laughing, and she would start laughing, and then another person would come, and they would be having a really serious conversation, and then the next person would come, and she would be joking around with them, and I remember just thinking, like, I can't believe she's, like, going between all these different things, like, that person was just so upset and crying, and she just moved on to the next thing, and she's just not aware of that person. I was thinking, if I was hugging someone and they were crying, I'd be like, oh, I hope that person is okay. I'd be thinking about them. And then I realized a being who is really clear in heart and mind, who's awake like that, I've said it before, but their mind is a mirror, not a camera. So they're reflecting whatever is in front of them, and there's no residue left. So, a person like that can actually completely identify in the moment with whatever that other person is experiencing, and then move on to the next thing, and there's no stickiness left. Whereas for many of us, or for myself, I may have an experience or a thought or emotion move through, and sometimes it moves through, but then I'm still holding on to it. I can't release it. That residue is there and it stays, and I think about it, and I'm contemplating it and feeling it, and I can't let it go. And so I think the beauty of being around people like that, also His Holiness the Dalai Lama, I think is a beautiful example. I'm sure any of you who've been around him or seen him, what an incredibly joyful human being. He's just laughing all the time, and it's infectious. The times that I've been able to sit with him in person, I've been able to do that a few times. It's just, the teaching is in the laughter. He can be talking about something very, serious with a lot of rigor and focus and attention, and then you just bust out with this total laughter and joking, and it kind of cuts your mind in half, when you see that happen. Because we can, in my experience anyway, we can kind of clamp down around certain things, especially around spirituality. We gotta get these ideas, and we get really entrenched in them, and we start to identify with those things, and it becomes hard to have that space to breathe and to flow with existence. That's what I've observed in people like Amma or His Holiness the Dalai Lama or Thich Nhat Hanh or any of the people that I've studied with, that there's even the Mamos, the shamans from Colombia who I've spent quite a bit of time with, like there's just this flow of existence through them, crying and then laughing and then serious and meditative and then exuberant and all of these things like a child. It's like a childlike innocence, but it's like awakened, like with an awakened consciousness, so to speak. And I think that when it comes to the subject of humor, it touches on that, because we really need to have that childlike innocence in some way to be able to experience humor and to be able to laugh at ourselves. Of course, humor can be used in a very negative way that can be harmful. If we laugh at another person in a judgmental way, in a vindictive way, that's not cool. Like humor can be used. People can couch, a hurtful comment in humor to try to, make it not seem as hurtful as it is. That's very, very painful when humor is used in that way. I mean, there's so many ways that it can be used that it's not skillful. But I think in its essence, the purity of humor and the ability to laugh, especially to laugh at ourselves, I think is a very important tool in the sort of medicine bag of a person on a spiritual path. Because the whole idea, and from what I've gathered, is that this trip, this spiritual journey is really about learning to drop our solidity, that we get this solid sense of identity. This is me, and everything else is separate from me, and I'm gonna do anything I can to protect this person and make it better than others or make it worse or this or that, and it becomes a project in me. And so the spiritual journey is about kind of, busting through that and looking at the illusory nature of that on some level, while at the same time having compassion for that, having an understanding of why those protective mechanisms were created in the first place. It's both important. But I think the ability to laugh at ourselves and to see, how our ego is working can really help, because the journey can sometimes feel really heavy and really hard. Oftentimes the idea that when you just start to meditate that you're going to just feel like so peaceful and blissful, it doesn't often come to pass. We sit down and at least for myself, I know, especially when I started doing meditation when I was younger, I was wondering what was going on because I wasn't finding any peace whatsoever in the experience. It was so miserable. Every time I sat down, I was uncomfortable, I was itchy, I felt tired, I didn't want to do it, my back hurt, and I was thinking of all these things. I couldn't calm my mind down. I was having all these old emotions and memories coming up, and I didn't want that. I just wanted my mind to be in this sublime place and be able to come back to the present moment, and maybe I had 2 seconds in the present moment, out of 20-minute meditation or something. But that's what's supposed to happen, if we're going to turn our mind within, turn our attention within, when most of the time our attention is turned without. We can't expect that we're going to turn within and all of a sudden it's going to be just pure, open space. There's a lot of weeds in the way. And so to actually meet those things, to meet the wounds within us, and to meet the places within us that with all of our different things that we do to try to be special, to be, whatever this kind of ego personality is working so hard to do, we start to see that. If we can't laugh at that sometimes, if we can't find humor in it, then I think that's kind of a dangerous place, because then we only go down the path of feeling really heavy, feeling like, oh, I'm broken, I'm wrong, why is this happening? Why is my mind like this? And we forget that this is what's meant to happen. This is the path. It's a return trip. The spiritual journeys, we're going back. So we have to go through all of those things, to get back to that place that we never left, actually. So I really am a huge fan of humor, and I just think, because I have found that there is sometimes so much heaviness, when it feels like, I'm meeting that pattern again that I thought I worked through, and I didn't work through it, and I can't deal with it. Why is this pattern coming up again? Why am I going through the same thing? I thought I had, nipped that one in the bud, but then there it is again. sometimes, of course, that has to be met with, some kind of attention and curiosity, and maybe some sense of discipline. Okay, maybe I need to do more practice, or maybe this would be helpful. But I think sometimes it really helps to be able to drop the heaviness and to laugh at ourselves and to see how much we tie ourselves up in these knots. At the very beginning of the pandemic, right in the, around the first month, this is a little story I'm going to tell you. There was, a meditation program with one of Amma's swamis. His name was Swami Shubhamrita. He's a really lovely human being. And he was just doing a little talk and a meditation. And this was the first time there was anything like this since the pandemic started. And I remember just thinking, I hope that he shares something. And Amma said, I just need some guidance right now, because nobody knew what was going on at that time. It was really just right into it. And so he started off this meditation, and we were all there. However many hundreds of people were there doing this meditation, and I was sitting in my kitchen, and I just remember thinking, this is so crazy, this pandemic thing. Maybe it's just going to end in a few months. Maybe he's just going to say, in a couple of months we'll be over it, or I don't know what I was thinking in my mind. But we did this meditation, as often we do. And in the meditation, there's various steps. In the very beginning, we chant Om, and then we follow our breath, and the Swami or the monk or whomever is leading it will guide the practice. So usually you breathe in, the sound of Ma on the inhale, this is the sound of love, and Om on the exhale, it's the sound of light. If anyone of you have ever been to a program with Amma, then you've done that before. Ma, Om. So this breathing's happening, and I was finding myself just trying to become very present and just really be in the moment and breathing Ma and Om. And then after a little while, as the meditation usually goes, the sound of Ma and Om, the Swami said, the sound of Ma and Om now dissipate into a deep inner stillness and silence. And so when he said that, I just let my mind go into a quiet place, letting the vibrations, after a few minutes of repeating Ma and Om, just rest in a silent place. Usually the silence after the Ma and Om lasts a few minutes at most. But this time, it was going on a little longer than I thought it usually did. And so I was kind of agitated, but I was thinking, well, maybe this is the pandemic version. Maybe this is the pandemic meditation, so it's a little bit longer. And so I was just sitting there, and I opened my eyes, and he was just, in a really deep place. His with his eyes closed, looking up, and he was obviously deeply immersed in meditation. And so I just kept closing my eyes and coming back and just breathing and just, trying to be in this deep inner silence. And then more and more time kept going by. And I was really starting to get irritated. And I was like, what's going on? It's been 10 minutes now. This never happened before. And then I started this inner dialogue, Carrie, what is your deal? You're here to meditate and pray for peace, so just be quiet. just go to an inner, still place. So I was arguing in my mind. So I kept coming back. No, just be here. And then I wasn't able to quiet my mind, so I was chanting Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu, just trying to send peace out. And I was trying to send prayers out. And then I was really getting frustrating, and I kept opening my eyes. Every time I opened my eyes, he was still solid as a rock, unmoving, with his head, towards the light. And I was just thinking, I can't believe this guy is merging with the absolute. He's going into samadhi. There's a pandemic. We need help. What are you doing? this whole trip going on in my head. I was going off about it, and then I just kept saying, Carrie, stop. Just calm down. Calm down. Probably a half an hour went by, and he still didn't come out of the meditation. And I couldn't take it anymore. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a piece of toast. I have to eat a piece of toast. I can't do this meditation. So I went up, and I still left the meditation on. I went to make a piece of toast. I was standing there, and I had this whole thing going on. This is so wrong. I can't believe you are teaching on Insight Timer, and you should just take everything off of there now, because you're supposed to be meditating and praying for peace. You're making toast, and there's a pandemic, and the world needs prayers, and what's going on with you and this whole trip? He can do it. Why can't you do it? On and on and on. I made the toast, I ate the toast. I don't even think I tasted the toast because I was in this total head trip about, what I was doing. It was so wrong. I shouldn't be doing this. And what did it mean that I was eating toast when I'm supposed to be praying for peace? Finally, I finished the toast. I went back. It's probably not that funny to you, but I went back and he was still in meditation. He hadn't moved at all. I could not believe it. I just thought, this is really weird. This must be like the new pandemic thing. This deep meditation. Maybe we're all supposed to this is the time. This is the moment that we're supposed to really go deep in ourselves. So I convinced myself that was the case. So I closed my eyes again. I was like, Carrie, you had your toast. So just calm down now and just go inside. So I was just sitting there and I was trying to be calm, but I could not be calm. Because in my mind I had all these ideas about what was wrong, why, my ego was taking over. I had no discipline because I ate the toast, and now I can't go back and change the fact that I ate the toast. It already happened, and this whole thing. So I sat and tried to meditate, and then finally, after so much time went by, I just opened my eyes, and I was like, I don't know. I can't do this right now. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, Amma. I'm sorry, universe. I'm sorry, world. I can't do this meditation right now. And I just looked up at my clock, and it said 12:50. And then I just looked down at my computer, and just out of the corner of my eye, I saw 12:15. And I was like, huh? And then I looked at my clock, and it said 12:50. And then I looked down again, and I was like, wait, what? 12:15? And I touched the thing on my computer. And that's when I realized my computer had frozen at 12:15. Any of you who did live sessions with me for the first year know that my computer was crashing halfway through the session, multiple times. My computer completely froze, and I had no idea. And when I realized that was the case, I just completely lost it. I could not stop laughing. I was laughing hysterically, and I couldn't stop laughing for days. I woke up in the middle of the night at 4 a.m, and I was laughing out loud. For some reason, it just seemed so hilarious to me, because it was what I think is the ultimate cosmic joke. I realized that was a metaphor for my entire life. That all of the stories and the trips that I have, the interpretations, the ideas about things and people and reality and all of that is just the sort of fiction in my mind. And I'm creating a story, and I'm getting all worked up about it. I'm getting, so disturbed and having all of this stuff going on in my mind about it. And it's literally not even real. It's not even happening. It's completely a dream. That was what happened in that experience, is that I was making all of these assumptions about him, about the pandemic, about me, about my work, about everything. And then I realized in that moment, when I realized the screen was frozen, can't believe that I actually went down that rabbit hole. And I went down it so badly. And I think part of it was just because, this pandemic was just started. I didn't know what was going on. We were all so disoriented. I felt so disoriented. And so I didn't even think to check to see if my screen was frozen. It wasn't even an option. I just thought he ascended to some light realm or something and left everyone else down here. I was so upset that I couldn't get there. So the reason I'm telling you this story is that actually that was one of the best things that ever happened. That experience, if I still think about it, I just can't stop laughing, because I had so much compassion for myself on the other side of that when I realized it, and I realized that I was just living in this alternate reality that wasn't based on anything, and how my ego and my mind is constantly doing that in any moment, and that is very humorous and very, very funny. I think it's hilarious, the way that we do these different things. And on the journey, instead of clamping down around it and feeling oh, I'm going to shame myself, that was so horrible, to be able to just drop everything and to just laugh and to find the humor and the lightness in it, and to just feel that childlike innocence, because that's really what it was. It was this little child, that was I want to get enlightened, and I can't get enlightened, so I'm just going to go eat a piece of toast. And to see that is just, it cuts through so much. And I think that that's the beauty of humor and laughter, is it just shatters, this intense knot of self that we create all the time. This solid thing we just keep creating. This is me. This is me. I'm going to keep sculpting this version of me. Tension or heaviness that we may be holding, and allow the breeze to just blow through our heart, just like a gentle breeze. Feel free. We're going to just do a really simple, beautiful practice that I learned when I studied Qigong. This is called the inner smile. And you're going to allow yourself to bring a little smile to your face. It doesn't have to be anything even noticeable, just so subtle, like Mona Lisa. Just a really gentle smile. You can imagine that you're looking at someone that you really love, like a dog or a child or love. And just smile with your eyes. You smile with your face. Even just smiling is actually good for our physiology by itself, even if we don't feel happy. So feel that smile. And now you're going to direct that smile inwardly. You're smiling inside. Usually when we smile outwardly. We give that energy away. And so right now, we're going to smile inside. Smile to this being. Smile at your innocence and all the ways that you try to cover that innocence over. Just smile at that. Smile at your comparisons and your competitions, your so-called failures and mistakes, your successes and your triumphs and your longings. Just smile inwardly at all of these things. Smile at the inherent purity underneath all of that. That wellspring or that source where the joy and happiness arise from, deep inside your being. And if you like, you can smile to a particular part of yourself, maybe an organ, your body that needs love and attention. You can just shine your light upon that by smiling inwardly towards it. Smile to your liver. Smile to your heart. Smile to your stomach, to your eyes, to your brain. Just smile like you're shining the sun the love through your eyes. Any place that's hurting, you can just smile gently at that. Maybe it's even an emotion, something that's hurting you. And as you smile, you can imagine that you're just nourishing this part of you with this love and this lightness, like the rays of the sun. You see yourself through the eyes of love. And smile inwardly as you offer yourself loving kindness, metta. Send that prayer everywhere that it's needed inside. May I be happy. May I be safe. May I be free from suffering and all the causes of suffering. May I forgive myself. May I see myself through the eyes of love. May the childlike innocence deep within me awaken and express itself fully. So now just see yourself whole. Just smile inwardly at this whole being, like you're nourishing every part of yourself with your own smile. Feel your worth. Feel I am worthy of love and joy and happiness and freedom. Those things are my birthright. And feel just a deep relaxation in every cell of your body. We can exhale like a fist that's unclenching, just opening and softening and relaxing. No kinks in the hose. And just take a breath. And when you exhale, just imagine you're bringing all this good energy within you just a little below your belly button, and just bring that energy there to rest. Breathe in and breathe out, and anchor that energy in your belly. All that good chi, all that good energy. Feel that you're at home within yourself. Even if your mind is wandering a little bit, have the feeling or the sense that you're centered within your own place, within the island of self. I think I'll sing that song from Thich Nhat Hanh's tradition, The Island of Self. It's a really beautiful invitation to come back. When we wander from ourselves, to come back to that island, that refuge within, where that innocence and that joy is always there, it's always waiting for us to experience it. Breathing in, I go back to the island within myself. There are beautiful trees within the island. There are clear streams of water. There are birds, sunshine, and fresh air. Breathing out, I feel safe. I enjoy going back to my island. So now let's sing together. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Let's take all this energy of humor and joy and laughter. Even if you don't feel it, it is actually who you are. It is who we all are. That freedom of the heart. So let us just intend that we're going to connect to that and feel it and fill ourselves up with it. And once we feel full with that, we just let it overflow and spill out into the world wherever it needs to go. The words are Loka, Samasta, Sukhino, Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and peaceful. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. We don't just do these practices for ourselves, We do them for the whole. happy. May you be safe. May you be free. Know your divinity. May you be happy. May you be safe. May you be free. Know your divinity. Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti and chant Om with me. Now allow a deep peace to just fill your being. Just offer that prayer, that intention. I am peace. Peace fills every aspect of my being. You may feel that peace as a light, or a joy, or a warmth inside. Maybe you can think of someone or something that you really love and feel this deep gratitude and happiness when you think about that, whatever it is. It may be a place on the earth that brings you peace. Maybe an animal. Maybe someone that you love. Just fill yourself up with that happiness. Those feelings of gratitude and warmth in your heart. And let that warmth fill your whole being, like the sun that's rising or setting, just pouring down over everything, illuminating every cell of your being. Maybe you feel that warmth and it makes you cry because you've wandered from it. That's fine. Maybe you smile, maybe you laugh. It doesn't matter. Just let that sun of joy and love just fill you. And breathe it in. I'm going to sing Om Shanti Shanti, peace, peace. And imagine that warmth and that love is just beginning to expand beyond you like the rays of the sun, and spilling over into the world. It's so in need of that love and warmth. When all of our warmth and love is together, it's amplified, it's strengthened. So we send it like a wave into the world, with a prayer for peace for all beings. Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti Om Shanti Shanti May there be peace, peace on earth. May there be peace throughout the universe. May there be peace, peace on earth. May there be peace throughout the universe. Now imagine that our collective prayer for peace is going to all the places that need it in this world. There are so many. Just send that light. To all the places that are suffering from pain and war and violence. To all those who are grieving. To all those who are afraid. We send our love. We send our compassion. We meet our brothers and sisters and animals and nature in the heart. And we wish peace for this whole world. Om Shanti, Shanti Om Shanti, Shanti Om Shanti, Shanti Om Shanti, Shanti Shanti, 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 Shanti Om. Shanti, 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 Shanti Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti Om. Shanti, Shanti Peace, Amen. Peace, Amen. Peace, Amen. Breathe in, hold, and then exhale through your whole body. Let's offer a prayer. For our world that is hurting so much. We call on all of the great beings through time, all of the divine souls who've taught us so much about compassion and love and peace and freedom, and how to live with an open heart, and how to heal injustice through the eyes of unity and compassion. Please be with us this time when our world is really hurting. It's so hard to see all of our brothers and sisters suffering in different ways and to feel our own suffering. So may we have the courage to meet these times with that compassion and with that love in our heart. Let us send that love to all who need it right now, to all who are suffering from war, all over the world in different places. To those who have been affected by the recent shootings. To those who are so deeply wounded that violence is the only option that they can see. To those who have lost loved ones. To those who fear to go shopping, to go to school, to go about their daily lives in fear. We send love. We ask for peace and healing and comfort for all who may be experiencing that. Let us send love to those who don't wish to make changes to the policies that keep these things from continuing on. May they awaken to see the right choices that will lead closer towards peace. May righteousness and goodness and dharmic values and principles awaken in the leaders from all countries. That this whole world may be able to recognize that we are one family on this earth. Vasudeva Kutumbakam. The whole world is one family. May everyone recognize the truth of that and treat one another with respect, with love, and with understanding. And may we recognize that we are also deeply connected to nature and treat her with love and respect, knowing that as we do so, we offer the same to ourselves. May these really hard times help us to develop more compassion for ourselves. May we never become cynical and jaded. May we always remember that love is the basis of existence, and that so many great souls have shown that to us through time. That we remember the example of their lives, we can hold fast to that truth, and come together in community, in the Sangha, and remember what really matters. To not lose sight of that, of our inherent goodness, and of that intelligence that is allowing the sun to rise and set every day in this earth, and that makes the earth turn and the fruit ripen on the trees. That intelligence that nourishes us and feeds us and sustains us. Let's get closer and closer to that. I'll just end by chanting Loka Samasta 9 times to complete, as we always do, to seal the practice and to offer the benefits of everything that we've done here, the collective. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha. Hari Peace, peace, peace. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think being together in difficult times like this is just so important. We don't even really need to say anything ultimately, just to be together with that pure aspiration in our heart for peace here and here. So, thank you. I'm so grateful to you for being with me. This subject of humor is a really rich one, and it has many different tributaries that come off of it, as everything does. So, something to keep contemplating, to invite that childlike innocence to awaken. Let us all do that, because I think that it has so many benefits for our relationships and for the planet in general, if we can connect to that. My next program is my workshop on the 12th, the Mystic Journey, and then at the Insight Timers Summit, the Healing Through Self-Care, which I'm so happy and honored to be a part of. That's on June 18th. If you don't know about it, you can, there's a little banner on the home page of the app, home screen. You can click on that, or you can go to, I think it's insighttimersummit.com. So many great teachers to explore such a really great subject. My session is on self-forgiveness. So some of you know that that is a big part of what I do for myself. It's a big part of my practice, self-forgiveness. And I think it's really important. You know, maybe it seems like a strange thing to focus on in a summit about self-care, but I actually think it's the most important thing. Because if we do all the right things, you know, all the things for our self-care, but yet we're holding an aggressive attitude towards ourselves, or our heart is closed towards ourselves, then, you know, it's like drinking beautiful clear water out of a dirty glass, you know. So to be able to unburden our heart, to forgive, to love this being, so that we can do whatever we do for self-care from a place of reverence and respect instead of a punitive place, you know, of needing to kind of change ourselves, to improve ourselves through aggression. That doesn't work so well, let me tell you, from my own experience. So anyway, that will be on my session. Really looking forward to sharing that. And then at the end of the month, I'll be offering my summer solstice, well, for the Northern Hemisphere water ritual. I haven't scheduled the date, and normally I would do it before the solstice, but I think because of the summit, I'm going to have to do it afterwards. So it'll be a few days later than the solstice. And then after that, I'm going to take just a little pause, a little break on my live sessions, just to refill my well and just clean the slate. I feel like I need a little break just to really think carefully about what it is that I want to do, and I always want to do what I'm offering from an intentional space. And I've been doing these sessions for years, like 2 years with no pause at all, and I feel like I need that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of time this summer and not offer them as regularly. I won't be going away, but I'm just going to do them a little less regularly for about a month and a half, 2 months. And but I will be offering a program at the end of July. It's only for women, but it's called Tending the Feminine Heart. It'll be a satsang for women in the workshop, $25 for that, and July 31st, I think. It hasn't been posted yet, but that will be doing that. So that's all. That's all I have to share. Thank you. I didn't read so many of your comments, and but I will. And thank you for your donations. I really appreciate it. They mean so much to me. I know it may not seem like it, but I put so much thought and work into all of these live sessions because I just want to offer you something that is hopefully worthwhile to contemplate. And, these sessions are, taking like massive, massive themes and trying to distill it down to the short amount of time. I do my best, but of course these are all like seeds, and then we can just keep watering them or not, as we move along. So just thank you so much for being here and always showing up and sitting with me in this space, and just for your love and your devotion. And it just means so much to me that, like, all of our collective devotion to doing these practices together, whether in this session or any session with so many of the amazing teachers on Insight Timer, has been a really incredible thing. To have this virtual Sangha, that is this app, with all of the amazing things being offered on it. I'm just so moved by it and so grateful to be a part of it, a tiny part of it. I'm just really, really grateful for that and for all of you. And thank you I really want to express my gratitude to the admins in my circle who selflessly give so much time to set up meditations and to post and to respond and to share wisdom, and it's a really beautiful thing that is being created there, co-created. And so thank you so much to all of you, Karen and Ellen, Pixie, John, and Josh. I'm very appreciative of all that you do to help the circle maintain its life and vitality. And to all of you, everyone who is in it, whether with words or with silence, thank you. So, all right, I think I've said enough for now. Thank you again, and I'll see some of you in my workshop, and some of you in the summit, and some of you at the water ritual, and all of you here in the heart where our true dwelling place is. So, bye for now. Thanks again. Take really good care during these times, and all times, but especially now, whatever that means to you.